Hello, everyone, and welcome to a full hike to West Maroon Pass. We start out here at Maroon Lake. These are some of the most photographed peaks in North America. Maroon Bells. This photo is of them in winter. This is from Aspen Highland Ski Resort. You can go and get this beautiful view at the top of that mountain, which is incredible. But now we're going to go ahead and start a hike. I included a couple of those photos there at the beginning because today is a bit of a cloudy day. You don't really get to see the tops of the peaks. Still pretty incredible. You don't have to have perfect weather for it to still be pretty amazing. This is Walk the Parks, and my name is Blake. If you do find this video useful, please consider subscribing or liking, a nice free way to support the channel. Um, Today, we're going to go to a full hike to the top of West Maroon Pass. This is quite a challenging hike in the high alpine outside of Aspen, Colorado. Um, and this also is a little bit over half the route to go from Aspen to Crested Butte. There's a lot of popular hikes right around here, but one of the more popular ones is you go from Aspen to Crested Butte. We'll talk about this a little more because it's kind of funny because this trailhead's actually about 10 miles outside of Aspen, and you end up about 15 miles outside of downtown Crested Butte. I guess you're a little closer to Mount Crested Butte where the ski resort is there. But anyway, it's kind of a bit of a misnomer that you're walking to those places. You do have to arrange some shuttles. Um, but this is absolutely amazing. If you do choose to go to this area and just come up here to Maroon Lake, it is extremely worthwhile. We'll get into more of that. So basically, throughout this video, basically, I'm just going to kind of commentate for a while. I have a big kind of outline here, and once I get through that, I will leave you. You'll notice that there's also some background music here, so I'll eventually leave you and just leave you with background music if you want to kind of fast forward ahead to check out the rest of the hike. Also, consider checking out the other channel I have, which is called 4K Trail Serenity. That will have just this hike with no commentary whatsoever. So it'll just be the music, none of me. If you're looking for something to throw on in the background or anything like that. Again, that is 4K Trail Serenity. I will put a link down in the description below. So, purpose of this video, I mean, if you want to just check out the hike and kind of see what it's like before you go, or kind of listen to some information about the hike, I am here for that. So this is an out and back, what we're doing here. In fact, the video is really just, it starts here and it goes to the pass. I did not record the way back down. And so that is that. As you can see, there are quite a few people here. I did start pretty early, but this was a weekend day. I believe this was a Saturday in September. And this is one of the most popular times to come here because of the changing leaves. Aspen trees or aspen groves are a tree that grows around Aspen, who would have thought? And also in quite a bit of the Southwest and the Rockies in general. But anyway, they grow in these huge, huge stands or groves of aspen trees. And they're actually considered one of, if not the largest organism. All of the root structures of aspen trees in these big groves are connected. So there's some debate. I think there's some new fungus they found that might be competitive and about to take over. But these aspen trees kind of all change color at the same time, so it can be really spectacular. I'm being a little bit biased. I am from kind of upstate New York by the New York Vermont border, and I must say New England has some pretty incredible fall, as does really anywhere. But it is pretty incredible out here in Colorado too. So that's why part of the reason there's a lot of crowds here. The other part of the reason is this is just a popular place in general, and of course it is a Saturday. There are lots of logistics that are required to get up here. We'll get into that pretty quickly as we go here. So West Maroon Pass is reached via the West Maroon Trail. A lot of these trails around here are not really they're incredibly scenic, but they're not really the most creatively named. You have like East Maroon Trail, West Maroon Trail, Maroon Snowmass Trail, East Snowmass Trail, West Snowmass Trail. Anyway, it's kind of funny, and it's a little bit confusing too for some people because although it does make sense in terms of like it's named after the creek and drainage, they're not really distinct names or anything like that. So make sure to kind of keep an eye on your map and be aware of that. So as I was saying, this basically is going to show you one way. This is about 6.7 miles, which is about 10.8 kilometers, and about 13.5 miles or 21.7 kilometers round trip. And there is approximately 3,300 feet of elevation gain. That's about 1,000 meters. So everything about this hike is pretty hard. I mean, obviously a 13.5 mile hike is pretty hard. 3,300 feet of elevation gain is quite hard. And then compounding that, the hike starts at Maroon Lake, which is this lake just to our left in the image right now. And that's just about 9,600 feet elevation above sea level. So if you're from the country or you like to elevation at all, there's a possibility you could really, really feel it here. So keep that in mind. Some ways to kind of combat that would be to arrive a few days before you do this hike to kind of acclimate. And altitude is one of those weird things. Some people get way more affected by it than others. But you definitely will feel, especially if you've never been to it. So, I mean, little ways you can combat it. Again, would be to arrive a few days early, perhaps drink a bunch of water. And we're kind of going through just looking at the signs. I'm not going to read all of the signs to you. If you want to go back and just pause the video and check them out, you're welcome to. Cover yourself, and you'll be able to check them out. I do want to comment, they do call these peaks the Maroon Bells, which really is these two 14ers that are in front of us, the most scenic, beautiful view. I think sometimes we refer to them as the death bells. Sadly, it is quite common for people to get injured or even die when they climb them due to a lot of the rock around here is very, very crumbly. So because of that, you can get yourself into trouble. Also very, very steep around here. So here we are on the Snowmass Trail, around that for a while, and then that switches over to the West Maroon Trail in about a mile and a half. So probably the most popular hike to do here is there is a little scenic route that's kind of on that trail. It's parallel right now along the left, just a scenic route, which is really pretty. You can walk down there. Would highly recommend that. Or just even just make it to it. It's incredible. There's all sorts of mornings around here, like mountain climb mornings. There's moose mornings. There's mornings for climbing the peaks. So I guess we're in a pretty precarious area. It's always good to to some degree where you're doing this. Also, it's a little overkill. I'm not sure. I think people with dogs can get into trouble pretty easily with moose, because wolves are known to be one of their like only natural predators. So unless you're with a dog, you might run into trouble with a moose. Moose are pretty likely to charge you. Like they can charge people from up to 100 yards away. I personally have never experienced this. I have encountered a lot of moose at quite close proximity, and my strategy has always been, well, especially if I'm caught really off guard, is to kind of scream in a loud pitched kind of noise and then back away slowly. And I haven't had any problems, thankfully. But if I do see them, especially if they notice me, or even if they don't notice me, I really try to give them a wide berth. And as far as mountain lions, I have seen 3 mountain lions all at the same time. It was like a mother and her 2 kids, I do believe, and they ran away quite quickly, so that was an ideal encounter there. So keep that in mind. There also was a warning about bears here. If you are camping overnight, make sure you have a bear canister that is required. Also, you need a permit. But anyway, we'll get more into the logistics here in a minute. So anyway, you're starting at 9,600 feet. The pass itself is at about 12,500 feet. So that is really high up. That is above tree line. Again, you'll almost definitely feel the elevation. If you don't, then good for you. And I'm trying to think of what else regarding that. Basically, this hike is really hard. So this kind of translates, and those elevations should also kind of translate, if you're not aware, into what time you should go. So really, this is more of a spring and summer area, and some of the high country in Colorado, especially around here, sometimes the snow doesn't really all melt out. Sometimes it's all the way in mid-July. You can go to this lake, it's typically like mid-May to mid-October is the time you can get up to this lake. And and then there's a varying amount of snow. Sometimes the road is delayed opening because there is too much snow on the road, or sometimes you might get there and there's so much snow from the lake onward that you might not even be able to do this hike because it is snowbound. You also would have to be really, really careful here. Like, you can get up here in the wintertime. Like, there's T-Lazy 7 as well as maybe a couple other outfitters. I'm not sure if T-Lazy 7 has the monopoly on it, but you can go on snowmobile tours up here. You can also, a lot of times the road is kind of groomed for the snowmobile tours, or at least like packed down, so you could in theory like cross-country ski out here as well. One thing to be really careful of is there are enormous avalanche paths in this area, so definitely be aware of that too. And by and large, this is a summer adventure, right? So mid-May to mid-October, and some springs and fall as well. But those tend to be the times you want to come. This is within the Maroon Bells-Snowmass Wilderness. We are entering that right now, and where we are before is the Maroon Bells scenic area. So now we're in the Maroon Bells-Snowmass Wilderness area and the Maroon scenic area. Anyway, that's just kind of nomenclature, not really the most mandatory thing to know. This is the most common route to hike from Aspen to Crested Butte. That route is about 11 miles one way. So again, this is the most popular. You either start near Schofield Pass and the West Maroon Trailhead on the Crested Butte side, or you start here on the Maroon Lake Trailhead. It is a bit of a misnomer to be hiking from Aspen to Crested Butte. This trailhead specifically is about 10 miles outside of downtown Aspen, and the trailhead for West Maroon Pass is about 15 miles outside of downtown Crested Butte. So additional logistics are necessary and can be pretty expensive. You might have to get a shuttle somehow on the Crested Butte side. And same thing, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to spend the night there, so you can hike back? You might need some reservations, might be required at least 4 buses on the Aspen side, which we'll start talking about in just a minute here. So, but anyway, this is the most popular route. Like, this takes you up once you get, if you're going from Aspen to Crested Butte, you have this 6.5-mile climb up to West Maroon Pass, and then it is pretty much downhill to quote-unquote Crested Butte on the trailhead on the Crested Butte side. It is pretty cool to walk between the two, just because by car they're like 4.5 hours apart, but it's only an 11-mile hike in theory, plus driving to the trailheads on the other side. But that's pretty neat. Again, if you are considering doing that, it's not really like super straightforward. I suppose you could hitchhike like on the Crested Butte side and maybe on the Aspen side too, and you probably find a ride not having too much of an issue. But people's comfortability with hitchhiking varies, obviously, and it depends on what time of year it is and the weather's like, etc. This can be a pretty hardcore area if you are here with a lot of snow. Make sure you know about avalanches and avalanche danger, because there are some enormous avalanche paths around here. And I'm always kind of amazed at the different ways you can enjoy wilderness. Like, for example, I say that it's like, definitely want to be careful of the avalanches, but then it's also amazing to think that there's people that come out specifically in winter, will like figure out a way to get all the way up the road that's closed in the wintertime, and then climb to the top of 14ers, climb to the top of Maroon Bells and then ski down them, which is pretty insane. So again, you could hike to Crested Butte. You could do this as a day hike, as I did, just to West Maroon Pass and back. And there's some other hikes as well that we'll talk about in a minute. I just want to talk more about logistics now. So again, it's really mid-May to mid-October, and the Maroon Bells scenic area is closed to traffic from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm going to say the date switches right now to May 23rd to October 19th. This could vary. definitely want to reserve way in advance because those can be quite hard to get for those tickets. Or if you want to ride the bus, even those they can sell out for the entire day. Um, and then also, say you're hiking from Crested Butte to Aspen, you do have to buy a ticket at that point to get back down. And I think the last bus down is either 4 p.m. or I think it's 4:30 p.m. So lots and lots to consider for this. And I apologize that there are so many details. It's hard to keep them all straight. I'll provide some links down below. Just make sure to do a little bit of research. One thing that can kind of save you though, if you don't do research or you just show up, you can either ride a bike or e-bike up the road, and you're not restricted by those pretty high competition for that as well. So keep that in mind. More things to do around here is if you need them. You can climb these 14ers if you want to. Even just from here, there's a turn off. You can climb up to Pyramid Peak, North I would just caution tons of information. If you're unfamiliar with 14ers and stuff like that, or not experienced in that before, I would strongly recommend against and sticking to these trails. I think most people find these trails extremely scenic enough and challenging enough before just an hour. So that's a bunch of different options for hikes you can do around here. Also, just do whatever you want, right? Like I mentioned, you can do Crater Lake, that's about 2 miles. You can just go to wherever you want. If you want to just turn around right here, all the power to you. Some runners might look at the people 5 nights ago from the exposure or anything like that. But that said, you certainly don't want to be way above tree line with lightning threatening or anything like that. This took me, let's see, how long did it take me? It took me a total of 6 hours, like a little over 6 hours to this hike, about 6 hours and 10 minutes. That's including all my breaks and everything. I do tend to be a pretty fast hiker. I suppose some people might be laughing and you just run up this and that's great. But other people, it might take quite a long time. So do consider this to be a full hike, full day hike, and definitely take it seriously as well. I think a lot of people underestimate, there's a couple places like around here for sure, around the Aspen area. Man, miles seem like they take forever. I even did a hike today where it took 40 minutes to go a mile. I think we did 1,200 feet. So it's some challenging terrain. You get the elevation. crossings themselves can be quite dangerous, so please keep that in mind. Um, Also consider using wag bags out here. So wag bag is when you need to poop. You can poop in a bag, which sounds disgusting, but they have bags you can use at the trailhead. So just consider that. This is a pretty highly used area. It'd be really nice if we could keep it pristine for, our kids and our kids' kids and lots of people beyond that. So kind of consider this. One thing I'm always impressed by too is even though there's so many people on this trail, I don't think I saw a single piece of trash. I remember I saw one like hoodie or long sleeve shirt or something. I left it there because I was like, oh, maybe somebody left it. On the way down, it wasn't there anymore, so that's great. There's almost no trash whatsoever, so that's a great thing we can all participate in. That's pretty easy too, right? Like if you see a little piece of trash, you can pick it up. Maybe somebody just dropped it by accident. And just try your hardest not to leave any trash in this beautiful place. And it looks like everyone has done that. It's a real for me, that's really hopeful. We have a tendency to focus on the negatives or things that might be going wrong with the world. But I think one that's going right, at least in a lot of this area, is just places in America. There's almost no trash at all. Definitely part of that there are some things over some of the snow. Some of the things like this because there's snow. You can even see snow, like even in this shot right here. The top of the peaks have a little bit of fresh snow, and then down below there's almost like glaciers or snow fields that form. So you kind of always want to have some layers. Better to be over prepared than anything, because it can be the most beautiful day, but then if you're up above tree line at like 12,000 feet and it starts raining or something like that, it can be so cold. I mean, you can get snow all 12 months out of the year, and hypothermia and stuff can become a risk. So keep that in mind. Also, hydration, drink to quench your thirst. You don't want to like super overdo it with thirst ever, but you don't want to underdo it either. So just kind of stay hydrated. Wildflowers can also be incredible here. For some reason, I feel like Crested Butte is more famous for wildflowers than Aspen, but I don't know, there's wildflowers. Obviously, we're here in fall, so more towards spring or early season. The time for wildflowers. This cairn here marks the start to the Pyramid Peak Pass. It's kind of like,
जगदम्बा तू ही भवानी हे जगदम्बा
current wilderness area is about 181,000 acres. So here we are at the trail split. So we go right and then go up to Buckskin Pass and then lead to Snowmass Lake. Instead, we're going up the West Maroon Pass, which is going to lead. Right now, we're going to be at Crater Lake. And this is pretty late in the season, so it looks more like a shallow puddle, I guess, more than a lake. It can be quite a lot bigger earlier in the season. And we're just going to go past it and all the way up to West Maroon Pass. There are some designated campsites here. Again, those do require another permit, which can be obtained at recreation.gov. So let's see, tourism in Maroon Bells has grown dramatically since the early 2000s. In 2017 was one of the most visited summers on record, with over 300,000 people, up 12% from the previous summer. Precautions such as bus transportation have been taken to mitigate the impact of low Maroon Bells, but it's imperative that visitors take personal responsibility to leave no trace during their visit. Maroon Bells are a historic and iconic representation of what Colorado has to offer. Experience them this summer during a weekend in Aspen. So this is pretty cool. Thanks so much. This was written by Kelsey Anderson. It's actually a blog post written a few years ago. It's still pretty prevalent. So yeah, let's see here. Here's the video. So right now we're going down to Crater Lake. And I'll just talk to you for a couple more minutes. I'll leave you. So like I said, so the rest of this video is going to kind of be some relaxing music. So if you just want to look at it, or if you want to kind of scroll ahead or anything, feel free. If you want to check out and see what the pass is like and everything like that. I suppose I could talk for 3 hours. But at this point, I don't know. If you're still here and you want to comment and you're like, you really want to hear me speak for 3 hours, I'll try a couple of them, see if that's what people really want. But I think I gave most of the information about this hike. If not, please let me know. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment them. So you can kind of see like the Maroon, which is the pyramid peak over the left. And that would be the May Lake. But we'll see more pictures. We gotta continue to go. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me here today. Go ahead and leave me a email. Question or anything, please let me know. And enjoy the Maroon Bells Wilderness.
truth don't make a sound. I'll let you be the first to know. What's buried deep begins to grow. The world gets cold but I stay warm. I made my peace inside the storm. I don't explain, I let it go. Some things cut deeper than they show. I told myself stories just to feel alive, and truth was a voice I managed to confine. Stars keep falling down. I'm waiting with no sound. I lay down till path is found. You are the truth I couldn't name. You saw the cracks I tried to frame. They count the wins, I count the cost. Each lesson gained from something lost. I bled in places no one knows, and still I bloom where nothing grows. Been through the night with no way out. Learn how to whisper through the doubt. Now when they talk I let it slide, 'cause I've got storms I've learned to ride. I swore I was healing, all I did was hide. Painted a smile, but hollowed out inside. Waves keep crashing down. I hold my breath, no sound. I'll wait till shore is found. Oh, the stars keep falling down. I wait with no sound. So I lay down till breath is found. I saw the cracks I tried to frame. You were the truth I couldn't name.